Good afternoon. I am Commander Frederick Brown, Operations Officer for Operations Dorian in Abaco, and I am working on behalf of the Royal Bahamas Defense Force and the National Emergency Management Agency. We've been on the ground now for some 9 days following the passage of the hurricane. Once we got here, we immediately linked up with the island administrator, who was at the EOC in the administration complex. We realized that the EOC was not functioning and there were no one other than the administrator a part of the operations to deal with matters here at Marsh Harbor. Following that, we set out to conduct an initial damage assessment, and in carrying that initial damage assessment, we realized that most of Marsh Harbor would have gone through level 5, level 4 hurricane damage. That means total destruction. Notwithstanding the people, there were a massive amount of people lay out in the government complex, as well as the mini hospital there near the mud and the pigeon pig. Having done that, we realized that we have a situation on our hand. There are no homes, there's no place for these persons to go, and during that time it was just pouring rain. After that, we then set out to find space for our persons. And going through the neighborhood, we happened to come across the Maxwell Super Warehouse leadership here in Marsh Harbor, who was gracious enough to allow us to use the compound to conduct our operation to date. Following that, we would have linked up with any number of persons in the community who would have information of how to conduct our exercise. Immediately set out to establish a strong shelter program. We determined that we would have used the port to bring in goods and to distribute goods. We also determined that we would use the airport, which also damaged significantly, to stage goods and services. We then move on to North Abaco and realize that there was enormous need for food, water, and fuel almost immediately, because everybody in that area was practically cut off from the rest of Marsh Harbor, and getting there was a challenge because the water level was relatively high. Moving on to Cooperstown, there was a challenge again. A lot of debris across the road, so you could not access nor leave Cooperstown, creating even a greater challenge now providing services. Once that is done, we determined that we need to resuscitate these communities by providing food, water, shelter, and some other supplies, basic supplies like tarp, to keep them sheltered. That said, any number of agencies start to pour in, through aircraft, through seacraft, and the likes, wanting to give assistance and to provide a whole lot of hardware. Most of this was dropped off at the airport. However, in many cases, there was no one there to pick it up, particularly at Treasure Key. That done, we then went into Maxwell. We established ourselves, we seek the task, organize, and produce a staff. The staff was also a challenge. Did not have sufficient manpower on the deck to conduct any number of exercises. But the main item for us was just security. We secured the port, provided security for Maxwell, provided security for the government complex and the health center, placed security at the international airport, Marsh Harbor International Airport. We placed security at the fuel dump in Marsh Harbor, as well as the fuel dump depot in Treasure Key. Place security in Treasure Key. Place security on the tarmac area of Treasure Key Airport. Place security in Cooperstown. And we recently placed security in Fox Town. One of the big challenges then is providing security for the outer bound or outer keys. This was certainly a challenge because you could not get in because of the weather, and our hire of HMBS Coral Harbor was certainly looking forward to resupplying us with manpower.